Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mind is a river which is unique, that it can flow in both the directions, in opposite directions. Normally rivers flow in one direction, from the source to the destination. But mind is such a river which is a constantly flowing thought process, and it has an option. It can go either towards the relativity or it can go back towards the absolute. When the mind is flowing towards the relative existence, it becomes stronger and stronger. And when the mind is flowing towards the absolute, the mind becomes weaker and we become strong. And because of this, the mind does not want to flow towards the absolute, the consciousness. And therefore, there are very many tricks discovered by the mind, whereby every attempt to be subjective is converted into objective. And this more portion of objectivity in knowledge is called as the samsara, and more portion of consciousness in the knowledge is called as the spiritual practice. So all that we have to do is only this: reduce the proportion of matter and increase the proportion of consciousness in our life. And for that purpose, we are told many techniques. So out of the 20 techniques that we have discovered, studied, every one of them is helping us to be subjective. And when we become subjective, then we are able to recognize what is being spoken of. It is not about something objective, but something our own essential nature. And in this process, we have come to the 15th verse, where the truth is revealed as Bahirantascha bhutanam acharam charamevacha sukshmatvat tadavijneyam durastham chantike chatat. When the car is going on a long, wide, undisturbed expressway without any obstacle, the driver gets into a dull mood. There is nothing that can inspire you to drive. That's why driving in India is more joyful. Isn't it? Otherwise, you just go on like a dumb fellow sitting over there. In the same manner, when the thought process is going steady, we start becoming Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, non-stop crying. And therefore, there is a speed breaker in between. And when the speed breaker comes, suddenly we awake. Hey, what happened? See, in most of these European countries, the borders of the roads, they are having a strip of small miniature type of speed breakers. So suppose you are drowsy and your vehicle's wheel goes on that, suddenly you become aware, again bring it to the main road. In the same manner, Here the truth is being revealed. So because there is not much of activity, there is not much of disturbance, everything is discarded, and the likelihood is, instead of discovering the truth, we may end up into deep sleep. And therefore the truth is always hidden behind all contradictions. So whenever we get contradictions in the scriptures, understand it is behind these contradictions that the truth is revealed. Now see, what is the contradiction? We were told, Neyam yattat pravakshami, I shall tell you Neyam. And what is said here in these words? It is said Avijneyam. The first contradiction. That which is worthy of knowing, Neyam, Avijneyam, cannot be known. See? Then why should we try? Don't try. Then the moment you give up all efforts, you are that. See? All these efforts are to attain the effortlessness. So, first, Bhutanam Bahihi Antascha. The truth is inside as well as the outside of everything. First principle. Meaning what? The space is inside the room as well as outside the room. The space is inside the head as well as outside the head. The space is inside the stomach, outside the stomach. Means what? Means inside and outside is merely superimposed on the space. Because what is that which is creating this illusion of inside and outside? When we say inside the hall and outside the hall, where is our attention? Our attention is on the wall which is creating an illusion of the hall space. Then only this becomes valid, that we are inside the hall and the cars are outside the hall. Now the question is, that which is creating this illusion of in and out in the space, that wall, where it is, that is also in the space. See, therefore, in and out is merely a superimposed imagination in the homogeneous, undivided reality. See, Bahirantascha Bhutanam. So, inside the reality is recognized as consciousness, sentiency. Outside, the same reality is recognized as existing. So the mic is existing. So the reality as the mic, and I know this is the mic. So I, the reality who is illuminating the existence of the mic. So this I, the consciousness, and mic, the existence, they are not two, they are but one. Bahirantascha Bhutanam. Now how it is? Everything in this world is recognized as is. Mic number 1 is. Mic number 2 is. What has made these two mics as two? Because mic number 1 ends here, then there is no absence of the mic. Then the second mic begins. Then there is again absence. So mic is number 1. Then mic is not number 2. Then mic is number 3. So in all these three, is common. Meaning the presence is recognized as existence and even the absence is recognized as existence. So all our knowledge is always in the form of something or the other existing including the absence. That which gives existence to the absence is beyond the existence and the absence. Bahirantascha bhutanam charam acharam evacha. So charam is the sentient one, acharam is the inert one. So what is the final conclusion? Final conclusion is, in any experience, this is the initial stage where we are told the knower is the conscious one and the known is the inert one. In one place, Calcutta, there is to be one brigadier who is to come for my lecture with his wife. And I was explaining this, drashta drishti vivek. So, I was explaining, see, the knower is always the conscious one, the known is inert. For example, the mic, the pencil, the book. After the lecture was over, Swamiji, you are always giving examples which are particularly inert. You never say that I am the conscious one and all that I see is inert. For example, I see you all. Why don't you give this example? I said, okay, I give you this example. I, the seer, is the consciousness, and all that I see you, you are inert. Swamiji, I will also say like that. No, you cannot say that. Because what you think I am, that I am not. Just get it correctly. And what I am seeing you is not the one what you are. Very, very simple. Because the consciousness can never become an object of knowledge. So what I am seeing you is only your inert body. As I see my inert body, I see your inert body. This is the first step in the discrimination. Now, second thing. Can this inert world be proved to exist without the light of consciousness? No. So what is the support of this inert world? The consciousness. So that which is the support of the inert world, the consciousness, so the consciousness alone is the real. And the inertness is imagined. See? In fact, the difference between the consciousness and inertness disappears in the absolute reality. It is something like this. The daylight and the darkness of the night. So, light and darkness, opposite of each other. What is the sunlight? Sunlight is a dark light. Because the sun rays which pass through the open space, where there is nothing to reflect upon, there is pitch darkness. If the sun rays are coming, why there is no light there? Because what is the light that we see is only the reflected light. The original sunlight is never seen by us. And this reflected sunlight cannot illuminate the original sunlight. And if we have to describe the sunlight, what we will say then? Sunlight is neither dark nor light. Then what it is? Then sunlight is the dark light. Because both the darkness and the lightness are contained in the sunlight. In the same manner, charam acharam evacha, all the sentient and inertness merges in this one reality. And see, we are not able to catch it. Therefore, the avisneyam, don't try to catch it. See, in Kenopanishad, the teacher talks about the reality. There he says, na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, na manaha, na vidmaha, na vijanimaha, yatha etad anushishyat. All your faculties will fail, don't try. Then we have come to you to ask, you have done a mistake. Straight away the teacher says, na vidmaha yatha etad anushishyat. We don't know how to teach this. No, 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 don't just brush us like this. Please tell something. Okay, I'll tell you. What my guru told, that I'll tell you. And then the teacher says, the truth is other than the known and the unknown. What the truth is never said. Because the moment you talk about the truth, it is a lie. See? And then it is other than the known and other than the unknown, other than the known, other than the unknown. Find out what it is. Known English, unknown Sanskrit. So other than the Sanskrit and English. Hindi? No. See? Known is the waking and the dream. Unknown is the deep sleep. Known is the effect. Unknown is the cause. See? Other than the known and the unknown means other than the cause and effect. Thereafter, the student tells the teacher, sir, yes, I understood. The moment this is said by the student, the teacher bombards on him, you fool! I told you it cannot be understood. How do you say I understood it? See, in the material knowledge, when the student says, sir, I understood very well, the teacher is very happy. Yes, I know you are intelligent student. But here, the moment the teacher teaches and the student says, I have understood, the teacher bombards. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabhramevapi nunam tvam vetha brahmano rupam. If you think, if you say that you have understood nothing, then again try. And again the student tries. And then he comes back. Sir, I have understood that it cannot be understood. In this way, he who understands, he alone understands. In this way, I have understood. When this is said, now the teacher says, yes, now you have understood that you cannot understand. See the beauty. All contradictions. So, sukshmatvat tad avijneyam. What is the difficulty that we are not able to comprehend? Because sukshma, subtler than the subtlest. One day one girl came with some book. Swamiji, please give some message. I said, the whole book is printed, everything is written, read that, what more message you want? No, something specially for me. Then I never dies. So, I wrote, if you can understand my silence, then you will have the meaning for my words. Swamiji, I have not understood. You will not understand. Sukshmatvat. Now be attentive. I will say Hari Om. You listen to that Hari Om only, nothing else. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. The sound you have heard by your ears. When there was no sound, with what you have heard the absence of the sound? It cannot be heard by the ears. When your eyes are open, you cannot see the darkness. Because eyes can see only the colors and forms in the light. Darkness cannot be seen by the eyes. Similarly, when the ears are open, they will hear only the sounds. And if there is no sound to hear, then you are hearing, listening to the silence. Silence is the absence of the sound, not your absence. Sukshmatvat. When we are thus able to be totally non-objective in our experience, do not verbalize it. The moment this is verbalized, immediately we are pushed away from the reality. Therefore, sukshmatvat tad avijneyam. Like when we go from the earth toward the space, the number of words used to describe goes on decreasing. And when we come to the space, and we say this is a Space Research Institute, where the parameter space is never defined. When we say Potato Research Institute, their potato is defined. When we say Cancer Research Institute, their cancer is defined. When you say space research, are you defining the space? What we do, all the satellites and the various things hanging in the space, we are not talking about the space. Why? Because you cannot talk about the space. What is the reason? Because the sound is the very quality of the space. See? And when you go beyond the space, the mind, then when you go beyond the mind, the intellect, when you go beyond the intellect, the consciousness, when you go beyond the consciousness, which is appearing as both consciousness and inertness, there the language fails. There the mind becomes totally impotent. There the intellect is erased. And therefore, sukshmatvat tat avijneyam. It can never be objectified. And durastham cha antike cha tat. And the same reality is far away for those who are not able to comprehend. And it is very nearer to those who are able to catch it. See? You must have seen, there is one book in the railways when I used to travel earlier. They used to sell books. The one book is Akbar Birbal Kahani. Akbar Birbal ki Chutkule. If you see the cover of that book, if you see it this way, it looks like Akbar. If you do this way, it looks like Birbal. The same picture. In the same manner, when you have the right understanding, the right vision, you are that reality, Antike. And if you are identified with all nonsense, the truth is far away. कन्हैया आने को बड़ी देर कर दी, लोकल छूट गई, what can I do? देखो महाराज, दूरस्थम चांतिके चतत. Meaning what? The distance is only the imagination of our mind. See? And that is why the truth has to be recognized here, now, in this very place. If here and now, or now and here, or nowhere, just move the words. This is the only way. There is no way. And to bring this to our cognition, all these contradictions are brought out. That it is to be known, but it cannot be known. It is far away, but it is very near. It is inside as well as it is outside. All contradictions. And that which is supporting all the contradictions is never contradicted. See? That is the truth. And that truth cannot be an objective understanding, but it is the subjective experience. Is it not? The waking experience is supported by us. It comes and goes. Then the dream experience is supported by us. It comes and goes. Then the deep sleep experience is supported by us. It comes and goes. But we are neither going anywhere, not non-going anywhere. That ever present reality is the one to be recognized. Durastham chantike chatat avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam ivacha sthitam. Now see, it is avibhaktam cha bhuteshu. This reality is undivided in all the divisions of the beings. Now see, you must have seen sometime the rivers. When you go to Badrinath at Srinagar, you come across Alaknanda, very wide bed, and the same river comes, and in between there is a kind of a little raised land. So the river divides into two, and again it comes and meets together. So by the division of this because of something, the river is never divided, it appears to be divided. In the same manner, this conscious reality appears to be divided. Take examples. The consciousness expressing through the eyes and manifesting as vision. The consciousness expressing through the ears and manifesting as the hearing ability, and so on. So is it divided? No, it is undivided. If this is true with reference to one body, the same thing is true with reference to the total creation. Nay, in that one consciousness, the many things appears like the waves appear on the surface of the water or the ocean. In the same manner, this absolute consciousness, the reality, avibhaktam, is never divided. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu and vibhaktam ivacha sthitam. But it appears as if there is separateness, there is otherness. So, avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam ivacha sthitam bhuta bhartru cha tajneyam. And this has to be recognized as bhuta bhartruhu. It is the supporter of everything in this world. And second, Grasishnu, it is the one which is the consumer of everything. And Prabhavishnu, and everything is born out of it. Now these three things apply to water and understand. Water is the one out of which all the oceans and the waves and the ripples and the dewdrops and the mist, everything is born out of the water. Everything is maintained in the water, and all of them ultimately go back to the water. So in that water, ocean the cause and waves the effect. This has no meaning. In the same manner, from the absolute standpoint, the differences have no meaning. It is something like that. When we rise above the ground level, as our flight takes up, a stage comes when everything starts looking so small, all the differences disappear. Higher we live, lesser are the differences which are meaningful. In the same manner, when we rise above the territories of our houses, of our states, of our countries, then we rise above, come to the level of the mind, to the understanding of the humanity, go beyond that humanity versus the animal, no, go beyond that consciousness versus inertness. Then you come to discover everything is in me and nothing ever disturbs me. That understanding, which is all inclusive and nothing is rejected, that understanding is called as the realization of the truth. And the result of this understanding will be, there cannot be disturbances on account of otherness. Which are the disturbances on account of otherness? Desire. Desires are always erupted when something is recognized as other than the self. We cannot have the desire about the self. We can always have the desire about the not self. So Jyotishamapi tajyotihi tamasaha paramuchyate jnanam neyam jnanagamyam hrudi sarvasya vishtitam. Now this reality that we are talking about, Jyotishamapi tajyotihi. See? The light of eyes can see only the colors and form. The light of the ears can hear only the sounds. The light of the nose can only smell. The light of the tongue can only taste. The light of the skin can only touch. But the consciousness which is supporting all these lights, Jyotisham api tajyoti. But one additional thing, eyes cannot see the darkness. Ears cannot hear the silence. But this light is not opposed to any light. See? Eyes are opposed to sounds and color, sounds and smells. They cannot see that. But this absolute light is not only illuminating the light, but even illuminating the opposite of the light called as the darkness. And therefore, tamasaha paramuchyate. So it is beyond knowledge and ignorance. See, the ignorance of mathematics is removed by the knowledge of mathematics. But this consciousness is at home to eliminate earlier the ignorance of mathematics and now the knowledge of mathematics. Therefore, this conscious reality, this light is tamasaha param, is beyond the knowledge and ignorance. And therefore, it is not a thought knowledge, but it is the knowledge absolute. Tamasaha paramuchyate. Now, the same thing you go beyond. The waking and the dream experiences are illumined by the same light of consciousness. Deep sleep, we say that I know nothing. So that nothingness is also illumined by the same light of consciousness. And therefore, this light of consciousness is beyond the light and the darkness, beyond the knowledge and the ignorance, beyond the joys and the sorrows, beyond the gain and the loss. And therefore, tamasaha paramuchyate. And this experience, jnanam neyam jnanagamyam, this knowledge of our own being, Jneyam, this is the only thing worthy of recognizing in this world. Friends, please remember, and you can learn. See, earlier, I used to have this hobby. Hobby used to be, suppose I meet somebody, particularly different people from different walks of life. Once I met one person who was very old and ill. So I went to see him. And after I went there, I asked him. I said, Dr. Saab, he was doctorate in some subject. So I said, Dr. Saab, I had just come to seek your blessings. Tell me something about your life. So when I told, he said, close the door. So I closed the door. And he started crying. I said, am I that bad that you are closing the door and crying with me? He said, no. When you call me, Dr. Saab, tell me something, you have done doctorate, that is making me insulted. I said, why? I am sorry, then I will call the patient Saab. He said, no. This thesis on which I got the doctorate and I was glorified, Dr. Gadbadanand. Now my disciples, my students, who have studied and proved this totally wrong, and I have signed this thesis, and he got the degree of doctorate, and he is my subordinate, and I am living here with the knowledge that I was the one who got doctorate on foolishness. He said, this is killing me inside. See, friends, in the old age, these two problems really torture us. One problem, the guilt of omissions and commissions. And second is the loneliness of nobody wants us. Two things. And when we have that nobody wants us, then go to Babaji. And then the Babajis are poor fellows available. Haan, beta kya ho gaya? Kuch. And then they will start non-stop. Yesterday, I went for some function. And somebody came and introduced me to somebody, Swamiji, he is so and so, and he does this upasana with this vidya, that vidya. I said, very nice, very nice. And I don't know why, he was elder than me. I didn't ask him to sit. So he was talking, standing. Now 1 minute, 2 minutes in a marriage or you go, there are so many people who want to talk and all that. He started, I have done this thing, I have done that thing, I have done this upasana, that upasana, I have done this experience, I can do this, I can sing, I have done this thing, I organize this thing. Non-stop going. I was talking here and there, but he doesn't understand that Swamiji is not listening. He is sincerely karvanye vadikaraste. Fire, oh fire. Friends, you know why it happens? Because we want to talk to somebody. We want somebody. Otherwise, we feel lonely. See? Very, very important. And therefore, we have to get out of this. Neyam. What is worthy of knowing in life is this. Wherein we discover independence in existence, presence and absence of anybody neither creates disturbance nor loneliness. That aloneness of being is the only solution to all the problems of life. Otherwise, you may have money, you may have luxury, you may have comforts, you will be luxuriously, comfortably miserable. So, jnanam neyam jnanagamyam. And this truth can be jnanagamyam, can be recognized only if you have prepared amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam. This 20 formula that we have told you, unless you practice it in your life, the truth cannot be comprehended. And the most beautiful part, where it is, hrudi sarvasya nishtitam. We don't have to see anywhere. Many times it comes that you are talking to, and it happened in Bhagavad Gita, the tragedy for Sanjay to explain through Dhritarashtra the glory of that Vishwarupa Darshan. And when he saw the divine form, he was explaining to Dhritarashtra, hey Rajan, O king, if there were thousands of suns to rise simultaneously in the sky, what will be the glory and the brightness? More than that is the brightness of this divine form. To whom he was talking? To a blind man who has never seen sunlight. Isn't it? In the same manner, you go on struggling and telling this is that, that is that. And after the lecture and everything is over, Swamiji, I got a question. What is the question? Why your beard is white and hair are black? Are barber? This question I have answered a dozen times. देखो, बाल से गला काटते. That is not important. So, jnanam neyam jnanagamyam hrudi sarvasya vishtitam. And this truth is available very much as our own being. See, if somebody is sleeping, you can wake him up. If somebody is pretending, you cannot wake him up. Isn't it? It is so true. It is so true. The moment you start analyzing your every experience. Pratibodha viditam matam. You reach your own self. Every experience. Take for example deep sleep. Instead of worrying about which government is going to come and why they are like that, that will never solve the problems of your life. So if you have to spend time, just keep on contemplating. What is that which attracts us to go to sleep? What is that which makes us so recharged after the sleep? What is that which gives us such a tremendous joy in deep sleep? Who are we in the deep sleep? Go on analyzing, evaluating your own experience of deep sleep. Did you ever sleep? If you are sleeping, then who has noted all the experience of deep sleep? And if you have come out of the deep sleep, then you are no more a deep sleeper. So how can it be you are present in the waking as well as in the deep sleep? So either you can be a waker or a deep sleeper, or you can be both, or you are not both. Find out who you are. Go deeper and deeper in your own experiences. Hrudi sarvasya vishtitam. Go on contemplating. When we see anything, suppose I am seeing you or you are seeing me, where is this knowledge taking place? Are you seeing me outside your body? Are you seeing me inside your body? Are you seeing me at all? Or you are seeing only my image inverted on your retina through the lenses of your eyes? And if you are seeing only the image, all your knowledge is only of images and not of the reality. Go on contemplating, go on contemplating. Hridi sarvasya nishtitam. Then you will come to know the truth as it is. Then the worldly things will never attract the mind. Because now you are deep into it, deep into it. This is the meaning of contemplation. Otherwise, we simply go on disturbing the Lord, Ram, 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 Ram. What do you want? Nothing. Just to disturb you. Ram, Ram, Ram. The other day somebody saw me, I want to come. I say, for what? No, just like that. I want to sit there. And what will you do? No, Sanjay, I look at you. How I eat, how I sit, how I scratch my head. What for? See? Go within, go within. And going within doesn't mean many people do that. They will sit like this and pull inside. And then they say, Swamiji, after I finish my meditation, there is a terrible headache. What I should do? Because you have pulled. As miserable people are because of spirituality, they are not that miserable in samsara. See? Therefore, dhyanam neyam jnanagamyam hrudi sarvasya vishtitam. Discover the truth within your own heart. There is no point in running here and there. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam neyam choktam samasataha madbhaktaha etadvijnaya madbhava yadyate. Now here the teacher is concluding this topic. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam neyam cha uktam samasataha. Thus I have completed. Hey Arjun, everything what I have promised. What is kshetram? What is the matter? We have seen the matter at three levels: causative level, the total instruments, and all the modification. So, mahabhutanyahankaro buddhiravyaktamevacha ashtadha prakriti karanatmika at the level of the cause. Then 16-fold are the effects. And then the remaining are the modification. Ichcha, dvesha, sukham, dukkham, sanghatas, chetana, dhruti. So I have told you this matter. Now, matter was told for what purpose? It was told to get beyond the matter. See? Why it is said cigarette smoking is injurious to health? So that we can sell more cigarettes. It is said cigarette smoking is injurious to health, so that you should not smoke. In the same manner, this matter aspect was told so that we go beyond the matter existence. Then we were told tatha kshetram tatha jnanam. Then before we recognize the truth, we were given a scheme of spiritual practice. And what is the spiritual practice? Living outside is purifying inside. This is called as the spiritual practice. See, spiritual practice is not a performance on the stage. You must have seen our singers. Our Mirabai also used to sing, but never as a performance, isn't it? And otherwise we see the singer, Meri Chunari, and that Chunari doesn't stop. Finally, people have to say, stop, Baba. You see, spiritual life is not a performance on the stage, but it has to be lived 24 hours. Therefore, jnanam. We have to live that knowledge. Kshetram jnanam tatha jneyam. And then we will come to recognize that which is worthy of knowing. All other things are not worthy of knowing at all. Samasataha, I told you in short. And madbhaktaha etad vijnaya. Again here, madbhaktaha, do not take that meaning of the make-up devotee. Madbhaktaha means the one who is committed, devoted to the cause and the goal of life. That is madbhaktaha. Otherwise, again, after you have beautifully, slowly discarded all the objectivity, and again, Krishna, 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 I am trying to understand, but I don't understand anybody. Don't cry. It is so essential. Otherwise, the moment devotion comes, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, tissue paper. 4 things together. So, madbhaktaha. Madbhaktaha means the one who is committed to the cause, the goal, the purpose of life. Etad vijnaya, see the beauty. Etad vijnaya. Devotee is the one who recognizes the truth, who doesn't go on begging from the Lord. Etad vijnaya, that which is gained is always through knowledge. See, suppose you have got a lottery ticket in your pocket, and the number is in your favor, but you do not know. So you will never be having the benefit of that number that you have got. The moment you know it, you get it. So all the gain is always through knowledge. That is why when we enjoy anything, we enjoy only through the sense organs. So, etad bhaktaha, mad bhaktaha etad vijnaya, mad bhavaya upapadyate. Now see, mad bhavaya upapadyate means what? He becomes qualified to merge in me. Meaning, the duality disappears, and be very attentive. And then, thereafter, he is able to look at the world from the same set of eyes through which I am looking at the world. See? Friends, when we are able to look at the world as the Lord is looking at His own creation, then alone we are in perfection. See? His vision alone is perfect. His vision is alone absolute. So mad bhaktaha etad vijnaya mad bhavaya upapadyate. Thus this important topic was concluded. Now the second important topic in this chapter is the Sankhya Vivek, discrimination between the Purusha and the Prakriti. First it was told Kshetra, Kshetrajna. Kshetra is the Prakriti and Kshetrajna is the Purusha. Now here we have to understand. Man, step number 1. Man, his wife, step number 2. Man, his wife and the miserable entity, husband. In the same manner, Purusha, the consciousness, Prakriti, the matter, and third, expression of the consciousness through the limitations of matter. When this becomes clear, then is our identity, where we are now. So to tell this new topic begins. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadhi ubhavapi vikarascha gunaschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan karya karna kartrutve hetuhu prakriti ruchyate purushas sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. First, Prakritim purusham chaiva vidhi anadau ubhau. These Purusha and the Prakriti, both of them are without any beginning. They are eternal. And with the anadi ubhau api and vikarascha gunaschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. And all the modifications, all the three gunas, they are belonging to the matter, the Prakriti. Now see our scriptures described like this. This world can be defined as three factors. The principle of inertia or matter or dravya. Second is the principle of dynamism or activity or kriya. Third is the principle of knowledge or the mind or the understanding. These are the effects. So that because of which the inertia is experienced in this world, that is called as the tamoguna. The tamoguna become the cause and all the inert world become the effect. The rajoguna becomes the cause and all the changes, the dynamism becomes the effect. And sattva guna becomes the cause and all the knowledge and the foolishness that become the effect. In this manner, from the effect we reach the cause. So, this world which is full of these three gunas and their modification, this belongs to the Prakriti. So, vikarascha gunaschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. Further, karya karna kartrutve hetuhu prakriti ruchyate. So, from this Prakriti alone, this karya means the five great elements, and out of the five great elements, all the bodies are formed. These are all the effects. Karana are all the instruments through which the knowledge and experiences are gained. So all the instruments and all the bodies, these are the effects of the original cause called as the matter. This is what Prakriti means. So what is Prakriti? Prakriti is the cause with three attributes, sattva, rajas, tamas, responsible for knowledge, dynamism and inertia, which is resulting into different instruments of knowledge and perception, and which is residing in the form of the gross body. This all thing falls in the purview of matter or Prakriti. Now, second thing, Purushaha sukha dukkhanam bhoktritve heturuchyate. And all the experiences of joy and sorrows, they are because of the conscious principle. Now see, our personality has got these two aspects. Be very, very attentive. It's a very subtle topic. If you catch it, you enjoy. When our hair become white, what is our contribution? Nothing. When we become old, what is our contribution? Nothing. When we have some disease, what is our contribution? Nothing. Those who say, no, see, actually, because of this habit, that habit, you are likely to get a heart attack. It is nothing like that, I tell you very frankly. I came across one person and he was sitting like this and all that. I normally never ask anybody about the health. Otherwise, you have to start listening right from beginning. I never ask. So, he said, Swamiji, I am sorry, I cannot bend and do namaskar to you. So, I lifted my legs. I said, do namaskar. Do namaskar. Then he said, Swamiji, I had bypass. I said, very good. Congratulations. What can you do about it? He said, Swamiji, I got a question. I said, Ram. Bypass you have, why should you ask me question? He said, no, my question is, I never drink, I never smoke, I never eat non-vegetarian. I am having this naturopathy type of grazing food habit. I do regular exercise and I don't carry any load of worries and tension on my mind. And yet, why did I get heart attack? I said, because you have heart. And second thing, because you have not done any one of those things. See, these exercise firms, they have to sell their products, so therefore they tell. And we get carried away. See, one Sindhi, he took me to his house in a basement and showed the whole paraphernalia of all the exercising machines. He said, Swamiji, I have brought everything for my son, but he doesn't do anything. I don't know what I should do now. I said, you have bought the wrong things. He said, why? I said, there are machines available. Exercise machines with a person to do the exercise. You buy those machines. Then your son will watch because you are rich, See? So, all the modifications are natural in matter. Understand this principle. And another principle. When a bridge is constructed, that time they already tell this bridge is possibly working for 100 years. In the same manner, when the body is created, it is already written in a software called as Prarabdha software. This body is going to go through these many good and bad experiences. This body is going to be destroyed by this particular method. You cannot corrupt it by any virus. It will remain that way. But we start imagining, I have done so much, but why do I get? Because you have done, you get it. Why did you do unnecessarily? So here the teacher gives the reply. Karya karana kartrutve hetuhu prakriti ruchyate. All that is going to happen in the matter is going to happen in the matter. Be very attentive. Because of the miseries, when we become miserable, we have opted, tick mark, what you want. Miseries belong to the matter. Miserable entity is born when the consciousness, the Purush, gets identified with the miseries and start imagining that I am miserable. Therefore, Purushaha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. So what is all the spiritual practice? Many people are all the time running after yoga, yoga, yoga. Bhagavad Gita tells, what is yoga? In the 6th chapter, the teacher told that tam vidya dukkha sanyogam viyogam yoga uchyate. Dissociation from the miseries, this is called as the yoga. Means what? Miseries will come. Don't imagine miseries will not come. You know, our questions are like what? Swamiji, I have done so much of God. I have done so much of God. I said, what is this? Swamiji tried to understand. हमने भगवान का इतना किया. I said, okay, you have done so much of God. What next? Even then, why this is happening? I said, you know, your question is what? Swamiji, I got a good driving license. So, but the traffic is so terrible. So, see, suddenly the buffaloes come, the children run. I said, who has a driving license? Buffalo? Or the children? You have. So, you have to be more careful. In the same manner, in this world, Prakriti, changes will come. It is your choice whether you get identified with the miseries and become miserable or not. Please remember this. We are miserable not because of God's will. We are miserable because of our freedom. See? If you refuse to be miserable, even God will fail to make you miserable. Therefore, Purushaha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhuktrutve Heturuchyate. So there are two aspects. One is the conscious aspect, second is the matter aspect. Matter is naturally modifying, and the consciousness is the one who has the choice to eliminate all the modification, stand apart and enjoy, or get identified with the modification and get buried under all the modifications. The choice is given to us. Further, how this miseries, sukha dukkha bhoga comes? Purushaha prakrutistho hi bhungte prakrutijan gunan. This Purushaha, this conscious principle, abiding in the matter, becomes identified with the matter and start imagining that these modifications are my modifications. See, one day in Goa, long time back, when we were going by one, this boat, a rowing boat, and the sea was a little rough. So like this, it was going on. We are all enjoying singing. And when we came back on the sea beach and we were sitting, and after sitting there also I was doing like this. So, Swamiji, what happened to you? I said, look, don't you see that boat, that boat is doing like this continuously, and therefore I am also doing. Swamiji, but you are not in the boat now, you are outside the boat. Why should you do like that? I said, Maharaj, this knowledge you are giving me, you are outside the modifications of matter. When somebody says something to you, you hear it and stop there. You don't have to get identified. When somebody tells you more too, don't get disturbed. This is addressed to the body. See? When somebody calls you man and woman, we get disturbed. Why? Because I am a man, I am a woman. This abhinivesha, this identification is the cause of all the miseries of our life. Therefore, Purushaha prakrutistho hi bhungte prakrutijan gunan. And karanam gunasangosya sad asad yoni janma yonisu. And because of these gunasangaha, extremely attached. See how much. The lesser we are attached, the lesser miserable we are. We are not attached to anything in this world. We are extremely happy. This is not a hypothesis. This is our everyday experience. In deep sleep, when we are totally detached from even our own gross body identification, nothing of this world ever touches us. And again we get up. You must have seen the smokers, the first thing they start searching for God. Like, near every phone, there is never a pencil and a paper. This is the rule. And everybody knows that near a phone, you require a paper and a pencil. And if you get a pencil, the pencil will not work. I don't know. So how do you wait? And after that, you get a paper, and that will be newspaper, one corner. A good paper will never be there. Isn't it? So, here the teacher says, Karanam Gunasangosya. We are so attached to everything in this world. And therefore, Sad Asad Yonisu Janma. Therefore, we are born again and again from one body to another body. Now here, please understand what is the meaning of birth. Again, we are born. This is very important topic. See, in Bhagavad Shastra, the definition of birth and death is given. Birth is identification with a particular situation is called as taking birth. Like you are all having entered this hall, have become students. So you are born as students. Now here you are neither man nor woman, neither young nor old, neither rich nor poor, neither educated nor uneducated, neither beautiful nor awful. All these conditionings are discarded. Now we are born here as a student. And after the class is over, then we are born as the drivers in the car. And thereafter we go home and start firing. Where is my food? Then a husband is born. Then the wife tells, it is in the hotel. Then a decent gentleman is born. See? So in this manner, every moment you get identified with something, you are born. In the same manner, when we are leaving the present body, means what? We are disidentifying from the present body. If you contemplate on death, you will enjoy death. You will not suffer. Kabirji says, we all talk about death, but we don't know how to die. If you want to know how to die, go to Australia. There everybody is constantly dying. You ask an Australian, when did you come to die? So you tell, we are not asking the purpose. We are asking the time. So constantly we are dying, but don't know what death means. Therefore, friends, it is said, just for us to understand, this doesn't mean this happens, please remember. The last thought of our mind before we depart from the body is the shape with our mind has taken, like a key. And with that, the body is discarded by the mind. Now, like a key fitting in the right kind of lock, you must have suffered like me. You have got those small locks, for your those suitcases, and all the keys look alike. Just don't know. Try this, try that, try this, try that. In the same manner, this mind which discards this body has taken a particular shape. And then that mind is searching for that particular shape. And where it fits, it gets entered. So, at the time of death, you had a desire. I wish I get a chicken, and you die. next life. Born. I am not just joking. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, this thing comes. That great King Bharat, at the time of discarding the body, he was so much infatuated in love with that baby deer that when he discarded the body, next body was a deer body. See? This is what is called as Sad Asad Yonisu Janma. Therefore, what is required? Be very attentive. All your spiritual practice is disidentification of the mind from the body. The moment this happens, your mind becomes formless. When the mind becomes formless, it is one with the totality. When it is one with the totality, like for the space, there is nowhere to go. Every going and not going happens in the space. Space doesn't have to go anywhere. In the same manner, what is all that is required to be done? That dissolve the shape of the mind, which is getting identified with the gross body, with the understanding and wisdom. Thereafter, live through the body, but never as the body. This is all spiritual life. This is all spiritual practice. It is not, if I do this thing, I will get this kind of power, and then I will be able to bless somebody, I will be able to curse somebody. See? This is all ghatiya, it's all useless. Therefore, the purpose of this Purusha and Prakriti Viveka is to draw our attention to this reality. So, Purushaha Prakritisto hi bhungte Prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sad asad yonisu janma. And then, in reality, what is this conscious reality? Upadrashta anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti chapyuktaha dehesmin purushaparaha. This absolute reality adopts different standpoints depending upon what role it is playing. Like the same man plays the role of the husband, the son, the son-in-law, the father, the neighbor, the officer. In the same manner, this one absolute consciousness playing the different roles is the one to be recognized. But we get so much rolled up in the role that we forget our own identity and thereafter start living as if we are a miserable husband. No man, awake! You are first a man and then a husband. It is not the other way around. You are first the absolute reality and then you are playing the game of life. There cannot be any simpler way than this. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.